Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And just a couple of announcements. The first thing is by popular demand. You guys have been asking me to do this for a long time. So I scheduled a workshop on the microbiome. It's on October 26th. It's going to be from 7 to 10 o'clock. And I'm going to feature some information on how to choose a probiotic in various circumstances so that you'll have a little bit more specific direction in which way to go. I had published published an article and also made a video clip about the gut microbiome and COVID-19, and then many of you started asking me questions, and so I can't really answer all of those individually. So I'm having this boot camp. The maximum we can take is 150, and so you want to register right away because I haven't even really announced it very much yet, and we already have like a third of it filled. So call our office or send me an email at pampopper@msn.com if you want to participate. And then this month and next month, September, October, our Defeat Breast and Prostate Cancer Month campaign. Last week I paid attention to women with breast cancer, and today I'm going to pay attention to men with prostate cancer. But remember that you get a $100 gift coupon for signing a pledge to take better care of yourself, whether you're a guy or a gal. If you get 25 other people to sign the pledge, you get another $100 coupon. All right, so now you have 200 that you can put toward one of our courses. And members, you guys who are members, you realize we have a Learn and Earn program where you attend our 101, 201 class series. You get coupons for that. You sign a pledge. We have another pledge for just everybody who's a member. You get something for that. You get coupons for completing your test booklets. So you can combine all of these together, and some of you will have enough money to have a free course. I mean, some of our courses are less, some more expensive. It just depends on how many lectures and how much paper grading and all that kind of stuff we have to do. But still in all, some of you who are members could probably get a course for free if you got busy during the next 6 weeks or so and started taking some classes that are part of your membership and that kind of thing, right? So send me an email at pampopper@msn.com if you want to participate in this stuff. So I want to talk about prostate cancer today. PSA testing in particular. So every fall, particularly during October, because they pay a lot more attention to breast cancer than prostate cancer, all the health authorities start telling everybody screening, screening, screening. Early detection saves lives. Medicine is famous for mantras, right? And so for women, it's get a mammogram. For men, it's get a PSA test. So I talked about mammograms last week. I'm going to talk about PSA this week. So in case you don't know, prostate-specific antigen, that's what PSA is a protein that liquefies ejaculated semen and allows sperm cells to swim freely in order to facilitate conception. The majority of PSA ends up in the semen, but a tiny amount of it enters the bloodstream. The PSA test measures the amount of PSA in the bloodstream and is reported to be a marker for cancer. Thus, PSA testing is recommended by most doctors and is represented as a means for detecting prostate cancer early in its most treatable stage. At least that's what they say. Now, a good friend of mine and a friend of the Wellness Forum is Dr. Richard Ablin. He is the researcher who discovered PSA, and one would think he knows a little bit about it, right? Well, he's stated for many years, and he wrote a book about it called The Great Prostate Hoax, that it's not a marker for cancer. A man with a PSA of 0.5 can be cancer-free and can have cancer, and a man with a PSA of 11 can be cancer-free. It's a meaningless and unreliable number, according to Dr. Ablin. And it appears in men who have, PSA appears in men who have no prostate cancer on up to metastasized prostate cancer. So he says that the results of the test are a little bit better than flipping a coin, and that's not so good. But PSA testing is marketed as the standard of care for men to make sure that they're treated early at the earliest stages of prostate cancer. Well, what happens when you have a PSA test is if your number is, the cutoff is different depending upon who your doctor is and the lab that's used, but 4 is usually the marker. And the problem with that is it leads to biopsy. And the problem with biopsy is that the older you are, the more likely you are to find cancer. But before you get all sideways about it, Most men die with, but not of, prostate cancer. Okay, so and we know this from autopsy reports in Japan, for example, that almost all men, and they have pretty long life in Japan, have prostate cancer at the time of death, but it's very rarely that it's the thing that kills them. Recommended treatments, by the way, if you're diagnosed with cancer, and I'm going to be a little more specific about that in a minute, include prostatectomy. About 1 million American men have had that, and a common side effect is impotence and also incontinence. So we have billions of dollars of expense being added to the healthcare bill every year, and the risks outweigh the benefits. So I'm going to give you some risk-benefit analysis. And by the way, if you sign our pledge for breast or prostate cancer, you get access to, in addition to the gift coupons, you get access to a platform that has articles on it, recipes on it, and lectures, diet and cancer, prostate cancer, and prostate screening, and mammograms for breast cancer. And this article, because it's hard to follow all the numbers, it's posted there. So sign the pledge, you get access to this. You can print it off and give it to others too, right? So I'm going to tell you what the numbers look like in terms of risk benefit. And I think you'll see more clearly what I'm talking about. Healthcare policy specialist Peter Bach at Memorial Sloan Kettering analyzed the data on PSA testing. And here's what he said. If a man has a PSA test today that leads to a biopsy and a diagnosis of prostate cancer that he's treated for, there's a 1 in 50 chance that 10 years from now, he'll have been saved from a death from a cancer that would otherwise have killed him. And there's a 49 in 50 chance that he will have been treated unnecessarily for a cancer that was never a threat to his life. So a 1 in 50 chance of benefiting, not really very good. So the data show that men have a 3% lifetime risk of dying of prostate cancer, which means that 97% of men who have a blood test showing elevated PSA are more likely to get harmed than to benefit. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force data show the risks and benefits of PSA tests for men between 55 and 69 who are screened for a period of 10 to 15 years. And here's what the USPSTF says. If 1,000 men have a PSA test, 240 will have a positive result. 100 will have a positive biopsy, which shows that they have cancer. Between 20% and 59% of these cases will involve cancer that won't grow, spread, or kill the patient. Nonetheless, 80 out of the 100 will choose treatment, and 60 of them will have serious complications, which include incontinence and impotence. All of this in order that 3 men out of the original 1,000 avoid metastatic disease, and 1 to 2 avoid death from prostate cancer. This represents a benefit of between 0.1 and 0.2% and means that the risk of being harmed is at least 30 times higher than the chance of benefiting. And that number keeps coming up again and again and again, 30 times higher risk of harm than benefit. So my advice for men, if asked about getting a PSA test, first, before you agree to it, do some research. And one place might be to look at the information that we have posted on the platform for people who sign the pledge. One thing to keep in mind is that PSA tests, in spite of what I'm telling you, are deemed so beneficial that they're now part of standard screening. So you may end up having a PSA test by just getting a regular blood test at your doctor's office, regardless of whether or not you wanted to, and without even asking you about it. And so if your PSA is high, air quotes around that, remember that the test is unreliable. The threshold is arbitrary, by the way. There's a lot of debate about what that 4 number even means. And your risk of being harmed is higher than the chance of benefit. And remember, one other thing too, you can lower your PSA and your risk of cancer. And that's what our campaign is all about. Stop paying attention so much to the testing and instead pay attention to the factors that drive cancer, and that's your diet, your lifestyle, your weight status, exercise, alcohol. There's so many things within your control that you can do about this. Focus on those things, right? And that's what the pledge is all about. If we take better care of ourselves, there's no guarantee that you're not going to get cancer. There's no such thing. There's no guarantee that no matter how carefully you drive, that you're never going to have an accident, but you can reduce your risk a lot, right? Same thing here. So take better care of yourselves and not rely on early detection to save your life, because it actually doesn't work as well as advertised, except for cervical cancer screening. I mentioned that, I think, last week. All right, that's all for today. As usual, pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it, and I'll be back to you tomorrow with more news on alternative channels with different kinds of information, if you know what I mean. Have a great day.